everyone. I hope that you all are having a wonderful day. So, I've just recently appeared in IELTS academic exam, and I thought why not share some key tips with you guys that I learned from my own experience. Moreover, I'm making this video after briefly going through the marking scheme. So, this video is going to be really helpful for those who are planning to give IELTS in the near future. Anywho, before we move on any further, I'd like to make this very clear that I've not taken any sort of preparatory classes or attended any academy for the preparation. Actually, I registered as a private candidate and have self-studied everything by only using the resources available on the official British Council website. For your reference, I'll also add a link to their website in the description box. Okay, now without any further ado, let's start with the video. So, just to give you a bit of an overview, IELTS consists of 4 modules, which are speaking, listening, reading, and writing. Out of these 4 modules, you'll be giving listening, reading, and writing in one sitting, meaning it's going to be on the same day, while speaking is usually scheduled on a different day. Today, I'm only going to talk about the speaking test, and particularly the cue card or the task card, which I'll get on in a minute. So, first of all, speaking test lasts for about 14 to 15 minutes. Speaking itself consists of 3 main parts. Each part is roughly 5 minutes long. The first part is like an introduction or an interview. Basically, here the examiner will ask you questions about yourself. For example, do you work or study? What's the weather like in your country? And so on. The second part is based on a cue card or the task card. And finally, the third part consists of general questions based on the topic that you got in the cue card of part 2. Keep in mind that here you'll have to support your reasonings or justify your answers by including some real-world examples. Let's move on to our main topic of speaking, which is part 2, the cue card or the task card. Some people also call it a topic card. Anyways, please note that we aren't going to discuss part 1 and 3 of speaking here. So, now what exactly happens in this part? The examiner will give you a task card on a particular topic with some follow-up questions. Well, it looks something like this. You'll have 1 minute to prepare your talk from that card, and then you'll be speaking for 1 to 2 minutes on that topic. And once you're done with the talk, examiner may ask you 1 or 2 rounding off questions, and then he'll proceed to part 3 of his speaking. If you are watching my video, I assume that you're not a native English speaker. Therefore, your mind must be boggling right now. You may be thinking, how on earth am I going to prepare my talk in such a short time? How can I speak for that long on a single topic? And what'll I do if I'm totally blank about the topic? Calm down. Let's have a look at the task card again. These follow-up questions, have you noticed them? They are deliberately placed in card for your reference. Well, these questions are more like pointers, and you can prepare your talk using these pointers. If you have no idea about the topic, then these follow-up questions are going to be really helpful for you. Following the pointers can be one solution. But what if you still don't have enough material to cover up your 2 minutes? And most importantly, the main culprit that you have only a minute to think And on the test day, since you're under pressure, you're anxious and nervous, so with just a snap of finger, it goes away. Hence, is there any other efficient way? Well, there is. And it comes in very handy. That, why don't you share more than one experiences regarding that topic? Let me bring the cue card once again. Here, our topic is a piece of artwork. What if instead of one, I mentioned 2 or maybe even 3 artworks? Fair enough, right? In this way, talking for 2 minutes will be much more feasible. Moreover, I don't even have to write anything on my cue card. Let's have a look at an example.
Well, I don't remember if I've seen any artwork recently, but there's one particular that I saw probably 4 or 5 years ago in 2017, and I was 14 at that time. It was actually when I visited the United Kingdom. My granduncle, who lives in Oxford, he took me to this museum named Ashmolean Museum, which is actually the oldest museum in England. So, about the artwork. The artwork actually depicted a story of Prophet Joseph and his wife. The Prophet Joseph is very famous for his beauty. And what happened was, Prophet Joseph's wife, she got so caught up by her husband's beauty that she accidentally pricked her finger with a very sharp object. And blood can be seen oozing out of her hand. And one more thing, this whole story was carved on multiple set of tiles, which was very fascinating. And that's one of the reasons why I have, very profound memory of that. So yeah, I think it was beautifully carved. And speaking of Ashmolean, I saw one more thing. It was actually a painting. I don't know much about the painting because I've forgotten about it. But I do remember it was by a very famous Pakistani artist whose name is Saad Khan. And I've heard there is an art gallery in honor of his name in Karachi. So if in the near future I've got enough time, I'd really like to pay a visit to, that art gallery. So yeah, that's it.
Did you saw how I transitioned from Prophet Joseph's depiction to Saad Khan's painting? And how I linked them with one another? In fact, while describing the first artwork, I'd forgotten about the name of the artist. And in the second one, I didn't even remember the painting. By the way, here from the timer you can see that my talk was 1 minute 48 seconds long. There is one more thing, which is that I didn't even follow the question exactly. The question said to describe a single recent experience. And instead, I went with the theme of this question, which was the work of art. Well, here's the thing, that as long as you stick with the core idea or the main concept of your topic card, you don't need to follow the question or its pointers. And don't worry, it will not affect your bands negatively because it's nowhere even written in the marking scheme. But please be aware that this only applies to the speaking. Writing module is totally opposite from the speaking. Your answer for both task 1 and task 2 in writing should clearly follow the instruction of your question, otherwise you lose marks. So, moving on the marking criteria, there are 4 in total. Number 1, fluency and coherence, meaning how comfortably you are speaking and making a link between your ideas. Number 2, lexical resource, means how flexibly you can find the right words and phrases to convey the meanings precisely. Number 3, grammatical range and accuracy, which is that how appropriately you're using the range of structural sentences. And finally, number 4, your pronunciation. It includes the dialect, your accent, the way you speak, and is it understandable or not. Now I'm going to give you some key pointers to remember while preparing for the test. Avoid starting your talk directly by answering the question. Give examiners some kind of a backstory. Even in my example, I started my talk by mentioning about my granduncle, my age, the time period, and the location, which was Oxford. Add emotions to your speech. It's a very clever time-gaining technique. You can see how I stressed and prolonged the words like fascinating, well, or speaking of Ashmolean. There is no need to put a fake accent. Your voice needs to be clear. Tell a fake story. You can even build up a fake story, but remember, if you're adding any factual information in that, then make sure that it's accurate. You can even do rare corrections if required. You can take a little time to think. I took a pause too when I said so about the artwork, but bear in mind that it should not affect the flow of your speech. And lastly, always be confident. Because at the end of the day, examiner fully understand that you're not a native speaker. Let me bring the marking scheme. In the fluency and coherence field, it's written, speak fluently with only rare repetition or self-correction. Any hesitation is content related rather than to find words or grammar. And if you look at grammatical range and accuracy here, it says that produces consistently accurate structures apart from slips characteristic of native speaker speech. And look, this is a band 9 descriptor. So they are even giving you leverage in this band. Now some ways in which you can prepare yourself. Number 1, listen to English talk shows, watch movies, or even songs. This will not only improve your accent, but it will also boost your listening. Number 2, try imitating your favorite Hollywood personality in front of a mirror. Many people worry that they don't have any foreigner to practice with. Sitting in front of a dressing table's mirror and talking to yourself is a very efficient way of preparation. Now I know that it sounds a bit weird, but trust me, it works wonders. It also gives you a feeling that you're virtually sitting in front of someone. Therefore, it boosts your confidence too. You can also use this technique if you're preparing a speech, debate, or presentation. Number 3, record yourself. Listen to that recording. Note down any grammatical errors or your mistakes. Number 4, practice, practice, practice. Because the more you practice, the more you become familiar with this whole procedure. Remember that from the time of your registration to the actual exam day, you've approximately a month for preparation. Well, that's all from my side. I hope that you liked my video. Bye!